Alright, and welcome back to another Toddy Walnuts video. And today, sitting in front of you, and you can tell from the title, I finally got my Friday the 13th Part 7, the New Blood boxed figure from NECA. It's a figure that I ordered. I pre-ordered it probably 6 months ago, maybe longer. And for some reason, some companies have been really having a hard time getting these and shipping them out. I also pulled out my other boxed figures. I'm going to kind of go through these. These are only the NECA boxed figures. I'll show you guys a couple of other figures at the very end of the video that are Friday the 13th related. But I'm not going to pull out everything in my collection today. This is just going to be the boxed figures. And these are kind of like the deluxe editions. They come in these beautiful boxes. They're already pre-displayed with these windows. And I'll go through part 7 first. And then I'll go through in order the other ones that I have. I do have them all now so far. The only thing I have to complain about this is the box was a little bit beat up when it came in the mail. And I don't know if you can see right here where my finger is on my left to be on the right side of Jason's mask. There's a pretty big crease. And then on the far right side there's kind of the part of the box is lifted up and a little bit of damage. And being that I am an in-box collector, which means that I like to keep all my figures boxed, unless I get doubles. Now if I do, I probably will order a second one of these just to have a nice clean crisp box. I'll probably open this one and display it. I only have one other little NECA figure unboxed because I only have one double so far, but I'll show you that too at the end. That's from the 2003 remake with Derek Mears as Jason. But I will try to get in here the best I can without the glare. And we'll start up here with some of the weapons. You have that big serrated blade, kind of like a weed whacker, edger. I'm not exactly sure what that is. And then there's another curved bladed weapon. It looks really cool. You can see in the background there's a damaged mask. You get a couple of hands there at the bottom. We'll look at the big guy here in a minute, but I'm going to look at the accessories first. So you get a machete, you get kind of a butcher knife, you get, what is that? Some kind of a, looks like a bloody spike, some kind of a pointed metal object, and then you get a curved handled axe, which looks really good too. And up here you get some kind of a sickle type weapon, short blade, or short handle rather. And then you get the face there. That looks really good. Let me see if I can put this down and get a better angle so we can pick up more detail. That looks really good. Beautiful piece. And then of course you have Jason with that rusty chain around his throat. And then you have his torn clothing. You can see his fleshy corpse underneath his raggedy clothes. You can see that his hands are more skeleton than they are fleshy now at this point in the series. You can see kind of his kneecaps, or maybe those are shin bones. I'm not exactly sure. See that he's got military boots. The boots are looking pretty good. I mean, they're in good shape considering everything else was falling apart. And then here on the left you can see what it looks like if you choose to pose him. There's other accessories you can buy. A little campfire there. And take a look here on the back as well, and you can see a better image of that face with the broken mask You can actually pose him like that. That looks really, really cool. I love that chain on there too. It looks so good. And it says Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. There's a curse in these woods, Jason Voorhees' curse. They say he died as a boy, but he keeps coming back. Few have seen him and lived. Some have tried to stop him. No one can. He's out there waiting. And of course, we all know that Jason never dies. There you can see the destroyed mask, and you can see the side of his face where a lot of his flesh has kind of torn away, and you can see his teeth. Really cool. I'm not sure the name of these tools here. I think they're definitely gardening or lawn care tools. It's either some kind of like maybe a branch trimmer for a tree, or maybe a hedge trimmer or something with the lawn, maybe edging the lawn, I don't know. I've never seen one of those in person before. And then you have kind of a, maybe kind of a weed whacking blade, kind of a curved blade, maybe getting in, cutting some of the longer weeds along a fence line maybe or something, I don't know. At the very bottom it said it includes an interchangeable head, an alternate mask, a brush cutter. Okay, so that one of those are a brush cutter, a wood cutter, this must be the brush cutter, and this must be the wood cutter, a sickle, a knife, a tent stake, that's what that metal stake was, that was bloody, a machete, and an axe. So this here is the tent stake, which looks pretty cool too. It actually looks like it's metal. They do a good job with the details on these. Even the accessories look really good. I mean, that axe looks really like a wooden handle and a metal blade on there. It looks really good. Really love these. And for a fraction of the price for what you would pay for like a Sideshow collectibles figure, these are really cool figures. Here's the side of it. And there's the back again. We don't have to go through that. And there's the front, which looks exactly like the movie poster, which I recently got. An authentic movie poster for Part 7. It measures 27 by 41, so I have to order a frame, and they're not cheap. And I like to get the wood with the actual glass because it has like a UV protector. So I'm going to wait a little bit, but I do have two, actually, not two of the same one, but I'll show those in a separate video. I got two different theater posters. I'm pretty proud of them, but I'm going to wait till I get a frame to show you guys that. But let us get into the other ones, and for those of you who have been following my channel, you've seen me show these many times. It doesn't take anybody to twist my arm for me to show these. I'm very proud of these figures, so I'm going to do another kind of an overview for those of you guys who haven't seen these. If you've seen these and you're bored with them, you can probably cut out here. I wouldn't blame you. But if you're interested to see what some of the other figures are that NECA has, please stick around and let's go through them. So they never came out with a boxed figure for Part 1, but I do have a blister pack that if you want to stick around till the end of the video, I'll show you that blister pack, which has become very, very pricey, very expensive. It was a 2015 San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, and like I say, it's very pricey now. But we start out with the NECA boxed figures with Part 2, and this is one of my favorite covers, and this box is in pristine condition. I'm not going to spend too much time on these because there are quite a few to show. But I don't want to go too quick either. I still want to give them their just desserts, you know, their just due. And look at, we get Pamela Voorhees' head. You get the unmasked kind of hillbilly head of Jason in Part 2, and then you get the sack head you can keep on him. He's got the bloody pickaxe, pitchfork, large machete soaked in blood. It's got the flannel shirt and the overalls. You can also make a campfire, which looks really good. So this is a beautiful figure. These are all beautiful figures, so I'm not going to keep, you know, beating a dead horse talking about that. But I mean, this is just amazing. It includes a machete, pitchfork, pickaxe, knife, spear, campfire, Pamela head, and interchangeable Jason head. Let me see if I can see who did the art on the box. Well, it looks like, let's see. The sculpt was done by Kyle Windricks. The paint was done by John Wardell and Jeffrey Trapp. The packaging was done by Chris Ramo. And that's beautiful. That's poster worthy right there. So let's get into part 3. Part 3 is a movie I got to see in the theater with my friend and his mother back in the day when I was a little kid. I think by the time I saw it, this came out in 1983, I believe. And by the time I saw it, it had been out for a year or so, and it was already at like a budget theater in South Milwaukee, and she took us to see it. And we got the whole 3D experience, so we got the glasses, and we had popcorn and soda. It was great. I was in 4th grade at that time, and that really got me. It got my fires stoked for the love of Jason Voorhees in this franchise. Even as a young child, I knew I loved this movie and this franchise. This one comes with a lenticular cover on the box. It's kind of like a plate that they glued on there. And pardon my dusty boxes here. I gotta wipe these down, but. The lenticular doesn't really do much, I mean, as far as, changing the image. It just kind of shows the 3D depth of that bloody knife that's coming straight at you. And then the figure on the inside is really cool too. That's what the picture of him posed looks like. And you get some really cool accessories. You got a pipe wrench, a bloody knife, another pitchfork. You get like a fire poker right here. It's kind of hard to see, it's very thin. You get a machete and an axe, and a spear gun up in the upper right hand corner, and then you can also change out the head. And there he is in his military style jacket and kind of faded jeans with his black dirty boots, blood-soaked jeans. So that is part 3, and moving on to part 4. Part 4 is the final chapter, but of course we know it was not the final chapter. But this was a very good film as well. Got a bloody meat cleaver, another bloody butcher knife. There's a bloody corkscrew for a wine bottle. And you get an interchangeable hand. You get Pamela Voorhees' headstone from 1930 to 1979 at rest. A blood-soaked machete, double-bladed wood-cutting axe. A bloody hacksaw, and again another interchangeable head. And you can see that he has his military coat still. It looks a little bit older now, and it's definitely more blood-soaked. He changed his jeans from kind of a light blue, faded blue jeans to kind of a cargo pant, khaki style, soaked in blood and mud. There are some of the poses. And you see how he looks posed with the different accessories. You can put the butcher knife in the side of his face if you want to. You can pose the headstone. Very, very cool. Let's check out part 5. So there were 2 different issues of the part 5 Jason Voorhees from NECA. The first one here, this one came out first, and this is called A New Beginning, part 5. And they were calling this the Dream Sequence Jason Voorhees, and that's when he was wearing kind of that futuristic style hockey mask. And then you can see that he's posed there with the worms coming out of his mask and the bloody double-sided axe. He's got a battle-damaged hand that's sliced wide open. He's got kind of a, I'm not sure if that's like a wood awl or a tin punch. I can't really tell. And then there's a large machete there in the bottom left. And there's a kind of a makeshift wooden tombstone there. Jason Voorhees painted on it. And you get 3 different head sculpts that you can interchange. So there's 4 total. There's 1 on him, and then you can change it out with 3 other variants if you would like to do that. And there he looks as he's posed. Take a look on the back to see what all that stuff was called. You get 4 interchangeable heads, a damaged left hand, a machete, axe, ice pick, and tombstone. So they're calling that a ice pick, I guess. And that's what the dream sequence mask looks like there. And you can pose him with the Nightcrawler infested mask. Another beautiful piece here. So let's check out the other part 5. So many of you know, you big Friday the 13th fans out there, that part 5, A New Beginning, didn't feature Jason Voorhees as the main killer. It was rather the paramedic named Roy. And this is the second figure that was issued. It was issued much later after that part 5, or maybe a year or 2 later, maybe more. And there you can see Roy. He's got the blue chevrons on his mask, as opposed to the red chevrons that Jason always had. And you can see that he's got some flares that are lit up on fire. He's got a meat cleaver. He's got a long pole, long metal iron pole, and then you got another bloody machete, which has kind of a dark blood. It almost looks very realistic, instead of having that bright red blood like this, where it almost kind of looks fake. I think, you know, when blood starts to coagulate, it gets that darker, almost dark brown or kind of blackish color, and that looks pretty good right there. And you get another hand down here. You get a wooden stick, and then you get a leather strap with 2 rings on the end of it. You get like a railroad spike, a hedge trimmers, and another, looks like a buck handle knife, antler knife. And then you get Roy, and you can actually take his mask off and you'll see the character Roy, and I'll show you on the back. That's what Roy looks like, the fake Jason. And you can also see him posed again in different formations. And again, I'll just kind of do a side by side. You can see what the 5s look like. And then I'll pop them open one more time just for a quick glance. You can see what they look like side by side. I'll put this over here like so. So they're calling this one the Dream Sequence Jason, and they're just calling this one the Roy figure. So let us check out part 6. Part 6 is easily one of the best installments in the franchise. It's one I really enjoy. If it's not my favorite, it's definitely 2 or 3. I really enjoy part 2, 3, and 4, and 6. 5 was still pretty good, even though Jason wasn't in it. These are all very solid movies to me, in my opinion. I really enjoy these, and I can watch these over and over, and I do. This is part 6, Jason Lives. Another very cool cover. Poster I still need to get. I'm going to get all of these posters eventually. All the official, not the reprints. Yeah, I can get those easy, but I'm trying to get all the ones that were, you know, movie theater posters. But that's what he looks like with all of his gear. And then you can see he's more and more zombie-like. He's got wounds, and his face is kind of just falling apart, falling off. He's got a mask there you can put on him. A couple of accessories here. Everything's pretty clean in this one. There's no blood-soaked weapons, but you do get a machete and like a survival knife, serrated on one edge, and a long blade. You can change out one of his hands with another glove, and then he's kind of got khakis with blood-soaked, blood-smeared. He got a little multi-tool pouch on his belt, and he's got a scabbard to hold the machete. And in the far right, then he's got the fence post that re-energizes him when the lightning strikes, brings him back to life when Tommy Jarvis was in the graveyard. And of course, there's his headstone when they dug him up. And it's pretty cool that the way they designed this box to make him look like he's laying in the earth. Like you can see him from the POV of looking down into his opened grave. I think that's a great design. It looks really good. It says, as a child, Tommy Jarvis did what many others died trying to do. He killed Jason Voorhees, the mass murderer who terrorized the residents of Crystal Lake. Years later, tormented by the fear that maybe Jason isn't really dead, Tommy and a friend make a fateful trip to Jason's grave. And that's when Arnold Horshack was with him, I believe, right? It says it includes a knife, machete, fence post, tombstone, alternate hand, and removable mask. So that's another thumbs up, another beautiful addition. Let's move on to Freddy versus Jason. Now you notice there was a little bit of a gap between, I started out showing you 7 and I just showed you 6. So we got 6 and 7, and now we're jumping to Freddy versus Jason, which is actually part 11 in the franchise. So we're not missing anything. NECA hasn't designed Jason Takes Manhattan, which is part 8. That doesn't exist yet. I don't know if they're ever going to release one. They also don't have Jason Goes to Hell, which is part 9, and they don't have Jason X, which is part 10. Now there are other companies who have released some of those, like McFarlane Toys released Jason X many years ago, and it's long out of print and it's very expensive, and I may at some point grab that one, but if NECA ever decides to release 8, 9, and 10, I'm definitely going to jump on board. But so we have a little gap in between 7, we don't have 8, 9, or 10. And we're jumping into now part 11, which is Freddy vs. Jason, another movie I had a lot of fun with. I thought it was really well done. I know a lot of people complained about it, but I guess it's the old saying, you can't please everybody all the time, and there's a lot of people who just like to complain, to hear themselves complain, I think. If you find, you can find fun in anything if you look for it. You know, if you're always going to be a negative Nelly, then you're going to probably be miserable your whole life. But, you know, if you go into something thinking that you're going to have fun and you look for things that, you know, you can have fun watching or doing, then, you know, you're going to be positive and have fun. But there is the pose of Jason with his accessories. You can see he's got a teddy bear in one hand and a bloody machete in the other hand. He's got his great big kind of almost Frankenstein type boots in this movie. There's 3 different head sculpts. You got, actually I think there's just the one head sculpt, but you can change out 2 masks. So there's 3 different masks, 1 head sculpt. One of the masks is soaked in blood and it looks beautiful. The other 2 are pretty plain. This one has Freddy's scratches on it, which looks really cool. It's very iconic. You get the teddy bear, obviously, and then you get a bloody machete, and you get a plain machete that you can actually put that little piece of fire on it, so it looks like the machete's on fire. And I'll show you on the back how that looks. It looks beautiful right there. They chose to put the slashed mask on, plus his fire machete. That looks really good. There's the bloody mask. A couple of other poses, and that's what he looks like unmasked. It says it includes 3 masks, 2 machetes, fire effect, and a teddy bear. So another winning box set here from NECA. Let's check out the remake from 2003. You know, I knew I was wrong, and I have to make a correction here. I'm not going to change anything in the video. I think a couple of different times now in this video I said the remake was 2003, and I was thinking to myself, that can't be right. It wasn't that long ago, and it wasn't. It was 2009, so that's a big correction I have to make. You know, hey, nobody's perfect. Even big fans of the franchise make mistakes too, I guess. But the remake from 2009, starring Derek Mears as Jason Voorhees. Kind of a plain cover, but that's how they wanted it. That's what the movie poster looked like. Open it up, and you have Jason, and he has kind of they're not really dreads, but they're kind of long, stringy blonde hair. They tried to change up Jason a little bit in this movie. I still enjoyed it. It wasn't one of the best installments in the franchise, but it was still good enough. I had fun with it. It's got a little tiny axe there. It's got the sack head with the eye peering out. He's got a mask. You can interchange those two. He has a screwdriver and a hammer and an interchangeable hand. And you get a fire poker again, and you get a long machete. So they tried to kind of change up Jason a little bit. They made him look taller. They made him look leaner, because Derek Mears is very, very tall. Then again, all of the actors who played Jason Voorhees were very tall. But he just looked a little bit different in this movie. He looked taller and leaner to me. Could be that he's, you know, the same size as some of the other guys, because C.J. Graham, Kane Hodder, all those guys were very tall, 6'5", I think, 6'6". I'm not sure what Derek Mears was. He just looked a little different to me. There you have him posed without his mask, next to a fire. It says a group of young adults discover a boarded up Camp Crystal Lake, where they soon encounter Jason Voorhees and his deadly intentions. So that is the remake or the reimagining from 2009, not 2003. Hopefully you guys will be a little bit lenient on me in the comments section. But I have one more to show that's a boxed figure. And then I'm going to show you guys a couple of blister packs that I have. This is the Friday the 13th NES figure. They call it the Power Play series. I think this is long out of print too. This is a game that we used to play back in the day on Nintendo. And you can see what the end screen used to look like. You and your friends are dead. Game over. This used to have a little, kind of like a little jingle when you open up the flap, and it would play the jingle from the game, but the battery has long since died on here. I'm not sure how to change it. I don't know if I have to rip open any cardboard, but that jingle got a little bit old anyways, but it would still be nice to have it. See, he has a couple of very, very plain weapons. You have a, can you see that back in there? You have a wood-handled machete and a wood-handled axe. And then this is how he appeared in the video game. He had like a powder blue mask and kind of a purplish outfit there. And then he had light blue hands, and there's Pamela Voorhees. She's in the game as well. Blue skin and purple hair. I thought this was really cool, and I wanted to get it added to the collection. They're calling this Hideous Face Jason. It looks good. It's really cool that they kind of brought this back as a retro style figure. It all takes place out at Crystal Lake, that pleasant little camp where happy children of all ages go to spend a fun-filled summer, but summer will be different. The fun will have to wait. Jason has decided to come to camp, and terror is the only game they'll be playing. Don't think that hiding in a cabin or staying adrift in a canoe will keep you safe. The only way to survive this summer is to challenge Jason face to face and destroy him. Don't worry that it hasn't been done before. There's always a first time. Well, not always. So that's really cool. And the package design looks beautiful. That's what the game used to look like, the box that the game came in. So I will pause it here. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'll just quick do a recap. You guys can see the boxes all lined up together. Here we have part 2, part 3, part 4. And we have 2 part 5s there in the middle. And we have part 6, Jason Lives, and part 7, the newest one, The New Blood. Then we're missing 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. 9, Jason Goes to Hell, and 10, which is Jason X. And then we drop back into part 11 with Freddy versus Jason. and the 2009 remake, which is part 12, and the game figure. So the next Friday the 13th movie will be part 13. All right, I'm going to pause it here, and I'm going to I accidentally cut myself off back there, but here I have some other Friday the 13th stuff back here. I have some posters. I have a cardboard cutout. More posters. I have some busts and masks up there. I have some more masks up at the top up there, and then these are all from 13X Studios. Rick. So here's the original. That's not an original. That's a what do you call it? Like a recreation or a reprint. I think you could probably buy that poster for $20. I want to get the original, but those are going for like 200 plus. Speaking of very expensive, this is that 2015 Comic-Con edition I was telling you guys about, and I've seen this go anywhere from $400 to $1,000. Now, don't let that confuse you, because anybody on eBay can ask what they want for these. But on the low end and pretty regular, I see these for about $400 to $500. So you can probably expect to get that. If you see them for $1,000, don't give in to the scalpers. You can just keep an eye out for it, and you'll find it for a much better price. But that is part 1, and that is the original killer, Pamela Voorhees, in her light blue sweater with her knife and her axe. And you can see young Jason, who was 11 when he died. That's 11-year-old Jason. And a fun fact about this, Jason was born June 13th, 1946. June 13th, you would think it was Friday the 13th, but if you look back at that date, June 13th, 1946 was a Thursday. So it was Thursday the 13th when he was born. But he died on September 13th, 1957. And that's when he drowned at Camp Crystal Lake. And that was Friday the 13th on September 13th. He died at age 11. And so the movie starts out with Pamela Voorhees killing counselors in 1958, the year after Jason died. So, and we have part 2, Sackhead Jason. These are fully clothed in these blister packs. These are beautiful. I love these. I like these better than the boxed figures. And we have Roy again. This is from A New Beginning. And then we have another video game rendition of Jason. And then up here I have a couple of NECA masks. So that is, let's see, that's part 4. No, that's part 3. That's part 4. And that's part 5. And then that's the remake from 2009. And then that's the video game. And get a better look at some of these from 13X Studios. There's Jason Takes Manhattan. There's Roy. There's the newer video game that came out a few years ago on the PlayStation 4. That mask was inspired and designed by Tom Savini. This was from the DVD box set that came out 10 or 15 years ago. This is a Freddy versus Jason tribute. Has the Freddy colors to his sweater. Also has the slash marks from his glove. And then this was a tribute to Steve Nash from part 2, Sackhead Jason. And this was a 3D. You got the blue and red eyes. Part 3 in 3D. And then this was kind of a tribute to Jason X when he slammed that scientist's head into the liquid nitrogen. That mask is made to look like it's frozen, so I think that's really cool. I still want to get some more stuff from Rick. And then over here, I have the 2009 remake on display because I do have two of these. So one is boxed and I have one here on display. That's the Derek Mears Jason. And I have a couple of statues. This is the Terror of Crystal Lake statue. These are very expensive, very limited. I did videos on these before, so I'm not going to go too much into these. And here's the Legend of Crystal Lake. This one's much bigger. And then here's a little guy I picked up at Walgreens several years ago. So I think that's going to do it for this video. I do have a couple of other Jason figures, but they're not NECA. I have well, this is the second box for the 2009 remake. I also have a part 2 from Sideshow Collectibles. These are very expensive too. And then I also have the Mezco 112 figure. That was a beautiful gift to me from Darren Crowder. One of the best figures and one of the nicest gifts I've ever gotten before from anybody. And I have a couple of other little things. I mean, I could go on and show you all the different Friday the 13th stuff I have. Here's an actual poster. But I don't want to make this video too long, so I'm going to shut it down now, guys. For Miss Hannah and Miss Heidi, as always. They're my favorite audience. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any comments, leave those below. But as always, thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.